Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 490 and Doubleshot number 403. Two Batman trades. First up, it's, Batman Superman, Volume 6, Universal's Finest. This contains issues 28 to 32 and the never before published issues 33, 34, and annual number 3. Yeah, I don't know why. Now, the first three issues are basically what the title says, Universal Finest. It's just Batman and Superman basically working together, and of course working on Lobo. This, of course, is Lobo's basically next appearance right after the cancellation of his brief ongoing series that Cullen Bunn did after 13 issues. He showed up in this book next. And he's wearing his outfit he wore for the last 3 issues of the series, where it looks like he's kind of trying to be like the regular Lobo, but he really isn't. Yeah, and this is the pretty Lobo. Yeah, the Lobo everybody hates. I am not kidding. Also, I should point out, though, both in this trade and the next one features Clayface. I'll get to the other one in a minute. But the first 3 issues are in here are written by Tom Taylor. Yep, this was during the period of time when he had like 3 books going at the same time. You had this on Wolverine, and I believe the other one was Superior Iron Man. Yeah, I think it was Superior Iron Man, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 3 books. And look, here's the pretty Lobo. Yeah, the one who's not muscular. Yeah, of course they brought back the real one in Justice League vs. Suicide Squad. Yep. And the whole point of this story is that, well, aside from the fact Lobo's here, just investigating some stuff, dealing with some kind of space epic thing. It's a really good story. It does have one small little problem. Yeah, I don't know why this is, or why in the world that the artist Robinson Rucka does this, where you actually see Batman's eyes instead of, being whited out. I don't really get why that is. It's a bit bizarre, to say the least. Yeah, but it's a really good, fun story, and I highly recommend it. The next 2 stories are just part of the Final Days of Superman, which I'm going to get the trade soon for that. So I'm not getting my opinion of Final Days of Superman here. I'll do that when I get the trade. The last few issues in here is a 3-parter called Crisscross, where in this story you have Batman taking on a group of Superman villains and Superman taking a group of Batman villains. Which Superman villains show up in here? Well, we have Livewire making her first appearance. If this was published, this was the first time she appeared since the 2 issues of Batgirl, which featured the Chappie Batman. We have Killer Croc. Let's see. There are others in here. Don't worry. Let's see. There are... there's the Prankster. I think this is... Yeah, the Prankster. Yeah, this is actually a character who appeared in the pages of Nightwing. Toward the end of he basically was he was the main character during Kyle Higgins' run when the character was in Chicago, so he was based out of there. I think this guy is supposed to be... I don't think it's the Paris. I'm not sure who this guy is supposed to be. Let's see. And we have this great scene of many villains. You see Mad Hatter, the guy with the multiple things on that's Multiplex. You see Deadshot above him. I think that's supposed to be... Yeah, I think that's supposed to be Blockbuster, the original one. We have Cheshire. Let's see. You see Captain Cold right there, the fold. There's also, at the bar, I see... Let's go from left to up until you see... up until King Shark. First is Deathstroke. And then it's King Shark, Cheetah, Gizmo. And the one that's closest to Croc's head, that's actually Black Manta. Yep, that's Black Manta. I'm trying to see if I recognize any other villains in this scene. Ooh, there's Simon of the Faithful Five. Yep, he actually just reappeared in the second arc of Titans. So I'm glad the fact I featured him there. Oh, it's actually Solomon Grundy. I thought it was Blockbuster. My mistake. I think, yeah, that's Gizmo. Let's see. Oh yeah, in this story, for some reason, King Shark and Cheetah have a thing. Yeah, I don't know why, but they do. Let's see. We also have an appearance. I think this is yeah, that's Doomsday. Yep, the Tony S. Daniel version. Yep. There's also Major Disaster. Yep. Prior to this, he appeared in the arc of Superman 1 just before Convergence happened. Yep. Let's see. We also have Bane. Graham Nolan, I think, designed this second costume for him, so you got to thank him for that. Let's see. What else we got here? We also have Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze. I don't have a problem with Mr. Freeze's redesign at all. I just don't like the fact they changed his origin story. We also have Bizarro, which is a little odd because last time Bizarro was seen prior to this, and of course prior to Origin Outlaws, he was killed in the... Now, this is not the one that appeared in the Bizarro miniseries. This is a completely different Bizarro. The last time the regular Bizarro appeared was actually during February when he got killed by Ultraman. Yep. And it's a really interesting story. It's written by Frank Thierry and worked by Alex Nunnett with Matt Benning and Mark Rosalind on the inking. And look, we have Clayface. Yep, that's actually Basil Karlo Clayface. Yep. And look, next to the guy on the right, the guy on Major Disaster's left, that is the second Atomic Skull, because the original one had a green skull for a head. This one's purple, and he also is a reoccurring character in the pages of Superman right now. Let's see here. I mean, it's interesting premise. Oh yeah, and this I thought was really neat. We have Batman driving the Batmobile from Batman v Superman. I am not kidding. That's the same exact Batmobile, Batman v Superman. Heck, when you think about the car, he's wearing the same exact body armor. What's a good example? Yeah, for some reason, he decided to put this on, and wow, look at that. He's wearing the armor from Batman v Superman. Yep, that is the armor he wore in the film. So, yeah, these issues are actually pretty good. Oh yeah, and look, Bane does his tribute to Nightfall. Look, it's a Nightfall tribute. Or Bane, instead of breaking Batman's back, he brings Superman's back. Yeah, that's just so freaking hilarious. Yeah, and of course we have Nightwing and Robin basically going out and trying to take on these villains. Because how about offer you some of the other ones? Yeah, this is a great story. I just kind of wish this story was published, because I'm sure a lot of people would have bought this 3-part story, because it's a bunch of Batman villains working together with a group of Superman villains trying to take out the world's finest. Great premise. I gotta thank Frank Thierry for that. Now, the other artists in here, aside from Robinson Rucka and Alexa Knott, Alex Knott is Doug Mankey, who I think does the Puget Tomasi issues, Elia Bonnet, and Giuseppe Cafaro. Yep. And yeah, this does happen in the book where they take on the Great Ten, the Trinity. That happens in Final Suit. I will get to that when I get the trade. But I still have to say my opinion about this. The final 2 issues of Batman Superman should not put in this trade. I mean, I would have been fine with just issues 22 to 30 in the unpublished 33, 34, and number 3, because those feel like part of the series. 31, 32 don't feel part of the series at all, because those are tie-ins to a crossover. Which, in my honest opinion, yeah, DC dropped the ball when it comes to putting stuff like this in trades. Yeah, instead of putting like the whole thing in one trade and just move on, they decided to throw this in for no reason. They did the same thing with Action Comics. The final trade for that one, Superman, Superman Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, did this for 2. I mean, if you look at the final trade for Superman, the issues are in there from Savage Giant Final Days. This one just has the 3-part story, 2 issues from 2 of a 6-part story for Final Days Superman, and a 3-parter from 3 unpublished issues, which shouldn't publish. You could have thrown these issues out basically, like you could have basically published issues. You could have Final Days Superman be a mini-series and have these 3 issues come out basically while those issues were coming out. That is just my honest opinion on the matter. But yeah, the issues here are not terrible. They're actually all really good. One thing nice about the Batman Superman issues that tie into to, I should throw this out there, Dr. Omen, who is the regular supporting character page of New Superman, she makes her first appearance in the issues of Final Days Superman. Yep. So the issues here are good. I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Next up is Batman Arkham Clayface. Yep. Now, this one contains many different Clayface stories over the course of the years. The first 5 stories in here feature the debut of the first 4 Clayfaces. Murder of Clayface, that's from Detective Comics number 40. That features the debut of the original Clayface, Basil Carlo, who is also the current Clayface right now. Detective Comics 298, that one's the debut of the second Clayface, Matt Hagen, who was the Clayface for the Batman Animated Series cartoon, though they gave him the profession of the original one because he was an actor. Then they have a 2-parter, Coming Clayface III, and If a Man Made of Clay, from the Detective Comics 478 to 479. That is the debut of Preston Payne, the 3rd Clayface. Strike vs. Cobra. It's actually part 1 of a 2-part story. I'm a little surprised they didn't throw part 2 in here because that is kind of like a part 2 of the story. Yeah, because it ends on a cliffhanger, which I'm like, why would they end on a cliffhanger for? Yeah, 21 is the debut of the 4th Clayface, Sandra Fuller. Yep. Secret Origins 44. Yeah, this one features the first post-crisis appearance of Basil Carlo and a retelling of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Clayface's origin story. Chasing Clay is not only the debut of the 5th Clayface, Cassius Clay, but also the debut of Cameron Chase of the DEO. Yep, which later led to a short-lived series by, I think Doug Mahnke did the series. It's actually a really good series. I highly recommend it. And in conclusion, that's actually the debut of the 6th Clayface, who only appeared in pages of Catwoman. He appears in the opening arc, and then he disappears for a while, and then he reappears for issues 44 to 48, and then he appears one last time in 59, and that's it. Villain Secret Files and Origins, that's just a modern retelling of Matt Hagen's origin story from Detective Comics 278. For Gotham Knights 68 to 71, it's called Shape of Things. It's a 4-parter written by A.J. Lieberman, an arc by Al Barbado. That's actually the debut of the last known Clayface, who was a fighter. I don't remember the guy's name, but he died at the end of this 4-parter. Yeah, he was the 8th Clayface, and he was a Clayface created by Hush, of all people. And Cassius Clay made an appearance in the story. The last story in here is from the Batman Dark Knight number 23.3, written by John Layman and artwork by Cliff Richards. The cover art, which is the cover for the Batman Dark Knight 23.3, is by Gillian March and Tom Morey. Yep. Murders of a Clayface. The people who did the creative team behind that book is Bill Finger, Bob Kane, and Jerry Robinson on writing, penciling, and inking respectively. For Detective Comics 298, it's Bill Finger, Sheldon Mardorf, and Chris Bartz writing, penciling, and inking respectively. For 78-79, the writer, penciler, and inker are Lee Wein, Marshall Rogers, and Dick Giordano. Outsiders, of course, is done by Mike Burr and Jen Aparo. Secret Origins 44, there's actually 7 different writers. There's like 3 writers here. Mike Burr, who does Sandra Fuller's origin story. I think he also does, let's see. Let me look it up here. 89, let's see here. Mike Burr does the original Clayface. He does the original Clayface's backstory. Yep. That's what he does. And he also writes in here briefly a retelling of Sandra Fuller's backstory for a few pages. Yeah, that's her origin story. Dan Ressler does basically a retelling of the second Clayface, Matt Hagen. And the final one is done by the creator of the third Clayface, Lee Wein. He does the writing for this particular story. I think his name is Clayface the Third. Yep, that's who does it. Doug Mork and J. H. Williams III. Does Chasing Clay, which debut of the 5th Clayface and Cameron Chase. Edward Baker and the late Darwin Cook does Catwoman Volume 3, Number 4. The story from Batman Villain Secret Files from 2005. The writing is done by Steve Percher, and the artwork is done by Mike Mignola. Yep, the creative Hellboy. And the cover art for the issue is done by Jason Fabok. Yep. And I've already listed off basically the other ones. But all the Clayface stories in here are really good, except for the one for the Clayface story from Villains Month. It's an interesting story. I just kind of felt as though for this story that John Layman wrote Clayface to be really dumb. I'm not kidding. He was more interesting in the main Dark Knight book, where he ran for a 4-part story, which was a really good story. John Layman wrote Clayface to be a complete idiot, to where these resistance people who he thought was going to resist against the secret society are actually they work for the secret society. So he basically failed in his task. But he's still an enjoyable character, Clayface. He's basically my top 10 favorite Batman villains. I think he's either number 5 or number 6 because the first 4 are taken up by Joker, Penguin, Riddler, Mr. Freeze. I believe he's number 5 or number 6. I think number 5 is probably Bane, and number 6 is probably Clayface. Yeah, and it's something though, Clayface has never fought Bane. Nope. He has never fought Bane ever in his career. He's never fought Bane. He's never fought hardly any of the Batman villains, any of the really big muscular ones. Heck, he never fought KG Beast. Nope, never did. None of the Clayfaces ever did. I have no problem with any Clayfaces. I think Mike Burr basically interesting idea of doing a female version of Clayface, which is, even though she's the 4th Clayface, she identifies herself as Lady Clayface. And in fact, her origin story is kind of similar to that of Matt Hagen's, basically, of how she got her powers, by accident or experimentation. Matt Hagen was a treasure hunter. If you want to know what the cover of his first appearance is, for Matt Hagen's debut appearance, it's quite a bit surprising. Yeah. Oh yeah, and if you wonder what happened to this guy, yeah, he got killed by a shadow demon in Crisis of Earth. I am not kidding about this. This is the cover of his debut appearance. In this same story, we also had a story for Aquaman and Martian Manhunter. Yep. And this is what Matt Hagen looked like as, that's what we look at the cover, but this is what he looked like inside the actual book, basically, when he was shapeshifting. Yeah, but this was in the early 60s. This is before the whole new look Batman in 1963. I kind of wonder, though, why wasn't the story collected until now? I read the story. It's actually not that bad of a story, the challenge of Clayface, which they gave him like a hyphen between his name for some reason. They did the same thing with Batman as debut appearance. I mean, yeah, the Secret Fire George is the retelling of this, but I read this. This is actually not a bad story. Unlike, let's say, the debut story of Deadshot, which is terrible. This story is actually really good. It's got pretty good artwork for early 60s standards. It's got a good story. I gotta praise Bill Finger for doing this story. It's just something, though, that he didn't get credit for Batman until 2 years ago. Yeah. But this story is really, all the stories in here are really good. Well, except for the one for Catwoman, which that was kind of a weak story, and that Clayface only appeared in pages of Catwoman. Never appeared anyplace else, never appeared in any other Bat book. All the rest of the Clayfaces did. Yeah. Now, the Shadow Demons, they actually work for the Anti-Monitor, and the Shadow Demons actually killed 2 supervillains. They killed Matt Hagen, and they killed the original Mirror Master. I think his name was Sam Scudder, Sam Scudder, the original Mirror Master. They killed him off too, and a few other characters, but they actually do show Matt Hagen's death in here, and I'm a little surprised for this particular trade they didn't throw in the Mudpuck story, which is a really good story. There is a trade for that. It takes up issues 604 to 607 of Detective Comics. There is a trade to collect those 4 issues, plus the Secret Origins issue, which is the retelling of the first 4 Clayfaces. Yeah. But this is really good. I'm going to get this a 10 out of 10. This is a really good... If you're a fan of Clayface, you would really enjoy this trade. It collects a really good amount of good Clayface stories. And pretty much every single story in here, they do tell the origin of how these guys became Clayface. Except for Basil Carlo, they don't give the story which happened during the Mudpack story of how he got his shapeshifting powers. Yeah, they don't throw that in there. They just throw his debut story and his second ever appearance, in his post-crisis appearance, and that's it. Well, of course, they throw in there his one appearance that he made post-Flashpoint, which was the issue of Batman and Dark Knight, which is a story for him in Villains Month, which I'm glad this story was finally collected in trade. Yeah, it's one of those many one-shots for Villains Month that were never collected in trade. But I'm kind of glad that basically it was collected in trade. And it's a not bad price for this trade. Oh, I should point out, though, I forgot to mention this, but in the case of Gotham Knights, like the final story is 71. The series ends 3 issues later. I am not kidding about this. They do end it. The last Clayface new Clayface issues prior to Flashpoint was actually back in 2006. So yeah, this Clayface was introduced 11 years ago. A lot of the other Clayfaces are older. Like the original Clayface is 77 years old. Yeah, he's 77 years old. For 77 years, that's how long the original Clayface is around. The second Clayface has been around since 1961, so that's roughly 56 years. Pretty good. For Preston Payne, the third Clayface, he's been around for 39 years. Wow, 39 years. That's amazing. Outsiders. This year, 30th anniversary of Sandra Fuller. They hit the fifth Clayface, which is the son of the third and fourth Clayface. Only 19 years old. Yeah, it's the second most recent Clayface they have in here. But yeah, the one that was created in Gotham Knights. Yeah, this one actually scratched it. It was not 2006. It was 2005. Yes, so 12 years ago. So 12 years ago was the last new Clayface introduced, and there's been a total of 8 different Clayfaces over the years. Some of whom were pretty. The last couple in here were actually short-lived Clayfaces, but generally the most long-running ones have basically been Basil Carlo. And that's it. He's like the longest-running one of all of them, and he's still Clayface this very day. And it's kind of the same. DC did the same thing they did with him, did with Cheetah, where they took the most popular version and just got rid of all the rest. With Cheetah, they did the same thing with Cheetah as well, where Cheetah was about 5 or 6 Cheetahs. They got rid of all of them except for Barbara Ann Minerva, which is the most popular one of all of them and the most familiar one out of all the Cheetahs, and she's the only Cheetah in the current continuity. They did the same thing with Clayface. They got rid of all the successors, every single one. There's no mention of anyone in this continuity. I kind of wish there was. That's just my opinion. But this is good. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Excuse me. Stay tuned for the next episode, which episode 491 and Doubleshot number 404, which I'm going to review one Batman trade and one Flash trade. Okay? Until then, I will see you there. Bye.